I'm Emprezz Golding and I represent with Shashamane Sunrise. My name is Emprezz Golding. I am a television executive of Talk of Youth, AccuWalk, Jamaica DWL. I'm a television host on Smile Jamaica The Morning Show and Talk of Youth. I am a youth advocate. I've been advocating for young people to have a better life in this country for over, I think, 10, 11 years. My first project was to build and rebuild a basic school where I never thought I could single-handedly raise $8 million in 1 year by running and begging just so the school didn't have to close down. My occupation basically, in a nutshell, as well as having a lot of other things that I do, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businesswoman. I think my occupation is to do my best to make sure that adolescents have the best start, that they're able to have a voice, that they can find their solutions, and that we, the adults, do everything in our power to build them socially, economically, and psychologically. I am from Jamaica. My parents are Jamaican. I am actually from Africa originally, because most of us come from the motherland. We didn't choose to be in the West, but we are here. And I grew up between my early days in Jamaica, my early adolescent years in Australia, and my later adolescent and adult life back in Jamaica. And then, visited other countries along the way. I think the most exciting thing about what I've chosen to do in my life, which is to choose a career where I could have purpose, living my purpose-filled life. I think the most important thing about the career choice that I have is that I'm able to make a difference in at least one person's life. What's exciting is seeing people and hearing people say, oh my God, you inspire me. What's exciting is to see people say, oh my God, my life has changed because you were able to guide and assist me. I love to be creative and I love to change lives being creative. And I really believe that you live a life, you choose your career and your job because it is something that you love, you're passionate about, you're innately good at it, and you choose your career because you want to do something that's going to make a difference or fix a problem in the world. That is what I live by. And so what's exciting for me is doing what I love and changing lives at the same time while using media and technology to heal. As an entrepreneur, there are many obstacles that you face. When you want to do something and you're not born into a rich family, you have no capital to start, you have a big vision and a big dream and nobody else believes it, you knock on 20 doors and everybody says no, you're going against the norm, you're not doing what's, popular culture, so people aren't going to necessarily run and jump in and support you and gravitate to what you're doing. So some of the obstacles is that you got to start. There's no sleep. It's a lot of tears, a lot of sacrifice. You have to work 80 hours a week. About 80 hours a week. So you eat, sleep, drink, wake up. Everything that you do is your career, is your job. And that is really hard sometimes because you never know where the money is coming from. You always have to pay people first before you pay yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to have any teams to work with. So the hardest thing I think is also in my work is trying to find self-care. The hardest thing is trying to understand how to have self-care, because you're working with a lot of problems and you go into the juvenile centers, you go into the prison, you go into the depth of despair, you go into the belly of the worst things in this country, and you have to see people who are affected by it, not just in their adolescent life but in their adult life, and it's really hard not to cry, it's really hard not to consume their pain when you really care. So self-care is something I'm trying to learn, and that's been one of the biggest challenges, how to not let those situations affect me. And then the other challenge is dreaming that there can be a better life for our children in this country, in the world, but then sometimes you reflect on what you faced and say to yourself, is it really possible to have peace, love, empowerment, education, a re-engineering of the mind of our new generation to parent? Are we going to break the cycle of enslavement? I really don't know, because unless every individual has that same vision to educate, and not just educate with math and science, it's a type of education. We need a different kind of diagnosis and treatment than other people because of what we have been through. And until we understand that we have racial and geographical issues which is different to everybody else, then I don't know if true healing can really happen. There's post-traumatic stress disorder in this country. Our children are affected from birth to adolescence, and then the adults have to feel it, and then the children that come from that, it's just a domino effect, and the cycle is never broken. So I hope with all of my friends, all of the benevolent groups out there, that we can come together with the right treatment for our people to heal and build themselves socially and economically. You know, the question you ask is tips for students who want to be like me. Never ever want to be like me. Don't you ever dream to be like me. What you need to do is take what you like from me, adapt those things to fit you, because you are special and you are an individual. Don't try to be like anybody, because we all think differently, we feel differently, we have different talents. But the most important thing I can leave for any student is remember that the system is not one way. It has been set one way, but for you, it can't be that way, because we all learn differently. Some learn with music, some learn with dance, some learn visually, and some learn mathematically, and you know, you are unique. So find your innate talents, find out what the problems are in your home, your community, your country, and then you design your life to fix that by doing something that you're good at. Never be like me, but you can take some of my principles, which is stand up for yourself. Never let anybody tell you that you can't. Always remember you can do anything you want, and that the pathway to success is never just that way. It's not linear. It has to be curveballs, all right? So boom, you take one, you kick one, you dodge one, you go over it, and you step on fear, because fear will cripple you from even waking up in the morning. And when you're living your purpose-filled life, I'm telling you, it is worth waking up. You get up and you're excited about the journey. And remember, we're not here for long. We're all going to die. And the question I have to ask you is, when you die, how are you going to be remembered, and how do you want to be remembered? And when I die, how will you remember me? I also tell some people, sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. Sometimes you have to design the you that you want to be, all right? Because people will judge you, and people will look at you, but you're in a system, and the system is going to box you in and tell you it must be this way. So creep, crawl, and then when you're ready and you're armed with knowledge and information and a support team, you just get up, soar, and fly and do what you know is good for you. And remember, we don't live in a world alone. It can't be a selfish individual approach to what you do. It's not about you. It's about all of us. So everything that each one does affects the other. If a man in your community is a murderer and it comes on the front page tomorrow, and then you go now for a job and you tell them you live in the same lane, I can tell you they're going to judge you. So what each man does affects the other. So when you see bad, you have to talk up, stand up for justice, stand up for peace. And all of the abuse being meted out on our young people right now, I pray that you find that voice to talk up. And I pray that the corporate Jamaica, Shashamane Sunrise, Aki Walk, Talk Up Youth, all of these UN groups will be there to support you on your journey. When you do talk up against somebody, that we will be able to be there to rescue you and protect you. But be you, live you, step on fear, look in the mirror every day and tell yourself that you're perfect, because God don't make no joke. I want to help every rural child, every inner city child. I want to help every single child and adolescent in this country. So when I was introduced to Sashamane Sunrise, and their focus was on early childhood education, and being the creator of Aki Walk, which is Jamaica's only animated puppet show, teaching children about their rights and responsibility via this animated puppet show, allowing them to feel confident in themselves, to see themselves in a society, in a community where everybody shows each other respect. I realized that after doing that, then being introduced to Shashamane Sunrise, it was a perfect match. So when we went to the first school and seeing the work that they were doing and coming in with the puppet show, I realized again, this is a perfect match. So Shashamane Sunrise is helping young people, young children in Jamaica, and that is my vision, that is my dream. So what do? We work together. Collective security is what Marcus Garvey spoke about. All right, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. Together we can in Jamaica. So with Shashamane Sunrise, and Aki Walk, and Emprezz Golding, and every other human being out there, wherever we can work collectively, there's definitely going to be a better outcome for, as I said, the next generation to parent. Yeah, so let's prepare them, teach them well, and they will excel.